All right, Michael, welcome back to the Bias Opinion. It's been a while since we've had you on. I'm sure you've been busy.
Yep, thanks for having me back. Last time I was on was just before Christmas, I think. I was down in Christchurch doing a bit of coaching around the country and just, I guess, trying to get back into the swing of things with training and stuff after my layoff last year with the injury and stuff. So since then, yes, I've been very busy, back to training 100%. And I think last time I was on, I was saying how last year I think I was mentally ready to race, but maybe physically I wasn't quite there. So I've spent the last 2 or 3 months really getting back physically to my top shape, which I think I'm pretty close to or at there now. And then mentally, yeah, it's been pretty good. We've done a few races in New Zealand, probably not as many as I thought, but we've done a few races, and now Nationals is next weekend actually. So,
Right.
Yeah, we've got Nationals next weekend, and then basically, I guess we're all going to try and get to Europe again and do some World Cups and stuff.
So you've been training with Rico?
Yeah, a fair bit. Like he does a lot of his training down in the Waikato and stuff. So quite a lot of the time he's down the line where with my schedule and I can't afford to drive to the Waikato 3 times a week just with fuel and stuff. So I'll do a little bit of training with him. Like I said, we've been racing a few times, so I race with him and stuff, which has been good. But most of my training's alone, to be honest. Like my gym sessions, my gate sessions, my track sessions, they're mostly alone.
I did hear that he was heading over to the US again this season.
Yeah, so he went to Vegas last week, and I think he's going to stay there till the Worlds. So
right.
Must be about, I don't know, the Worlds or maybe Papendal, a few months, and he's going to live with Isaac Kennedy. And I think there's a race this weekend in Houston, which will be pretty cool to watch. I'm excited to watch that. The first Supercross race in a while, and it looks like all the big hitters are there from Europe and America and South America. So
you don't feel like you're missing out?
Not really actually. No, I don't. No, I don't really like the look of that track, to be honest, and no, I actually don't feel like I'm missing out at all. So,
so national championships next weekend. Does that mean that you're going for the three-peat?
Three-peat. Yeah, I am actually. But I'm not too. It's a national champs. You always want to win, but like I said before, I've got bigger goals this year, and I've spent a lot of time, like I said, getting back to my physical strength and stuff. And I am aiming for later in the season, hopefully those World Cups and the World Champs, if I can get qualified. So, yeah, next week it's on a small little 3-meter start hill with a tight little track. But yeah, obviously always trying to win when you're at the Nationals.
You only had about 5 or 6 riders last year in elite and junior elite combined, didn't you? Will the numbers be any bigger this year?
I think they are bigger, and this year we've obviously introduced under 23 class to all UCI races, so that includes national champs. I think for junior men we have 6, which is pretty big considering last year I think there was 3 or something. Under 23 I think there's around 6 as well, 6 or 7, and then elite I'm unsure, but I'd say that's probably going to be the smallest class, maybe. Yeah, I've got no idea actually. 3, 4, maybe 5 riders in elite. So I'd say that we might have to merge with under 23s, which makes sense. But yeah, it looks like the size of our fields may be getting bigger, but I don't know whether it's just because this year the track that we're racing on is, like I said, a 3-meter hill, no pro set. It's probably a bit more friendly for the ones that aren't so confident. Where last year at Rotorua, I love the track, but it's huge. Like it's so daunting. So I can see why some people would be put off racing there.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember looking at the footage and thinking, my God, just for national championships with so few riders to actually have to go through that. That was crazy. So are there many women racing at the moment in elite?
In elite, no. We've got Rebecca Petch in elite. I don't want to be missing anyone here. We've got a few under 23 and then a few really good junior riders. I think on the women front in New Zealand, we're we've got a really bright future. Like I said with Rebecca, she did quite well at the Olympics, very well at the Olympics. And then we've got Megan Williams, Leela Walker, who are junior elite, which I don't know if you know those two riders, but they're very promising for the future. So hopefully we can, keep them in the sport, and the sky's the limit for those two. And then we've got some younger ones as well that are coming through as well. So I think it's all timeline from, I guess, Sarah, like she's done so well to promote BMX in our country, but also girls, women in BMX as well. So no, it's looking good. We've got some skillful, fast women coming out of New Zealand, which is exciting. Hopefully New Zealand can be like a staple team on the World Cup circuit soon.
New Zealand's always done well in the female classes, hasn't it? I remember seeing quite a few world champions come out of New Zealand as amateurs.
Yeah, we've always done good with amateurs, men and women, I guess, like boys and girls. But in terms of like the elite team, we've only ever had Sarah, I guess, as far as my memory goes. And now we've had Rebecca. So yeah, we've always done really well in the challenge categories for boys and girls, but it's just been producing them into elite riders, which is hard in all discipline, in all sports, I guess, is converting it from talented kids to professional riders or athletes, I guess.
It's not like you got a big pool to draw from.
No, we don't. Yeah, definitely not. And like going to Australia as a kid, I would see that we could sort of hold our own against the top Australians, but we didn't have the depth. Like you guys would have quarterfinals where we would have probably six kids in each age group that were pretty good. You guys had 20 kids in each age group that were pretty good. So it was just a depth that I could see from when I was 13, 14 that you guys had over us. And I'm sure Europe's even deeper again than someone like Australia. So I don't know how to fix it. I guess we're just a small country and we're quite spread out. But
you'll have to go off. You'll have to go off and do some populating.
Me? No.
So what's your plans for this year as far as World Cups? Do you think you'll be competing at all of them, or have you selected some that you want to get to?
Yeah, with the World Cup layout, I guess, is Glasgow. I'm not sure the date of it, and then not long after is Papendal.
And Glasgow's in May. Is it May?
Yeah, I
or
think
later.
Maybe May. I don't want to say. And then Papendal's not too far after, so you could basically go and do those 4 World Cups. And then there's a long break until the 4 in Colombia, and then they're back to back as well. So I guess for someone like me and being in New Zealand, you can actually get quite a lot of racing and good racing in short trips, where in the past, it's been so spread out, it's so expensive to go over and stay for 3-4 months just to do the World Cups. But I'm not sure what my plans are yet. I want to try and get to obviously all the World Cups and do as much racing as I can, because last year I was in Europe for so long and did no racing. I felt like I did the racing in Italy the first 2 weekends I was there, and then no racing until Worlds, which was obviously off the back of no training and stuff. So that was wasted in my eyes. But I was in Europe for so long, did no racing. So this year I want to try and get as much racing as I can and get some results.
So will we see you here? I can't even speak. Will we see you here in Australia doing some racing?
I've been asked this a lot recently. I don't think so. I think the Oceania's kind of falls at the wrong time. I've looked at the schedule, and I think that hopefully I can be in Europe at that time. So I'm not sure, especially not if I'm going to go anywhere. It'll probably be Brisbane, not Victoria. But anyway, that's at the start of the year. Maybe at the end of the year, if I see an opportunity to come over and do some racing, I'd like to do that. But no, right now I can't see any reason to come over to Australia. But I'll never say no.
You did mention earlier that you didn't get a chance to train much leading into the World. That was because of an injury in your neck, is that right? How's that going? Have you had any nagging problems with that over the period you've been training hard?
Yeah, it's been good to get on top of, and like I've been able to train every session at 100%, but it still does give me a little bit of grief, and we're still managing it. I'm going to physio a few times a week, and we're just keeping on top of it, which is I guess that's good. We can keep on top of it. Where in Europe it was like I couldn't train because I didn't feel like I could. Also dizzy, and yeah, I just didn't have the energy to train. And then the doctors didn't know really what was going on, so they kind of advised me not to train anyway. We know what's going on, we can manage it, and I feel good. So training's been really good. I haven't had to do a training where I don't feel 100%, and everything's going really good. In the gym, feeling really strong. Sprints are going good. Track sessions are going great. We've got the 8 metre at my track up and running, which has been so cool. We've had the track there for 2 and a bit years, and actually more than that. Yeah, more than that. Maybe 4 years. I can't even remember. And we haven't been able to use the Supercross hill just because it's been so wrong, the transition at the bottom. So we've got that fixed. We've got like a proper first straight, and it's been cool just to have the Supercross track 30 minutes from home. So yeah, it's actually been really good. I'm enjoying training. It's like the seasons come around really fast, it's good.
So after your national championships, what's on the calendar for you then?
Yeah, so I was looking at the races in Europe, and they're basically starting start of April, really. I think the first weekend of April, there's some European rounds, and then the World Cup's basically not long after that. So hopefully I can get to Europe and do some European rounds, get into the rhythm of things before the World Cup start. And I mean, most of the same guys race the Euro rounds as the World Cup. So it'd just be nice to get over there, get my feet in the water, and come into those World Cups running. And then, not that I really worry about it, but Olympic qualifying starts at the end of the year. I think it's August 1st or something. So yeah, it'll be nice to go into Olympic qualifying running. In the last, I guess, cycle, it was like I didn't even. It's not that I didn't think about it, but it was just like it wasn't on my mind because I probably wasn't confident enough as a rider at the start of it, and it was just about building my confidence. Where now, like I know how fast I am. I know where I sit in the world, so it'll be cool just to come into a cycle and put some points together.
It must be hard being like pretty much one of the only elite riders from your country trying to rack up some points when you've got, every other country's got at least 3 or 4 good riders.
I think this year actually it's going to be interesting. We've got that under 23 category now gets points for Olympic qualifying.
Oh, right.
And I think it's something like if you make I want to say podium in under 23 at a World Cup, it's the equivalent of being 9th or in a semi. I think it's 9th, so 5th in the semi in elite. Which, if you ask me honestly, I don't think it adds up. But whatever, it's the points. And we've got Rico Beerman and Bennett Greenoff and a few other riders that potentially could go over there and get some results in under 23 and get us some points as well.
Did Rico and Greenoff both race the World Cup here in Australia?
Rico, we had Rico Beerman, and then we had another rider, Rico D'Anvers.
Oh, right.
We had a few other riders as well race that World Cup. But obviously they were, how long ago was that? 2 years. So they were 2 years younger, and yeah, hopefully now that they're a bit older, more mature and faster, they can start getting some results for New Zealand.
So they're going to cut their teeth in under 23 and not jump in the deep end with you guys?
I think they've been advised to by Cycling New Zealand. They're now on the high performance team.
Oh, so nice.
They're now getting paid to ride, and I think they've been advised to go under 23 to get some points. It's a smart option, I guess. Get some points for New Zealand rather than just jumping in the deep end.
Yeah, it will certainly help your cause if that's what your plan is for the next couple of years.
Me?
Yeah. Well, you said they get Olympic ranking country points, didn't you?
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
I don't. It's a weird one. Under 23, I think everyone's got a different opinion. I think for our sport, for the the way our sport is going and has been going in the last few years, last 10, 15 years, if you look at it, I think under 23 is the wrong age for a group in our sport. I think if you look at someone like Nick or Sam or Isaac Kennedy, I think Isaac had a podium at 19 in Elite Men, where if you had probably made this under 23 class back then, he probably would have been racing under 23.
Well, Sam Willoughby won his first World Cup series as a junior elite. Did you know?
Yeah. Nick won. I don't know if I can't remember that. He would have made a World Cup final as a junior rider or something. Where if you'd made that now, I think they probably would have gone towards under 23, maybe being pushed towards under 23, just with Olympic points and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know whether we should have made it under 20.
Or a junior elite even, because it's kind of standard with everything else.
With under 23, I guess it was never a class when I was under 23, so it's hard to comment on and how it's going to work. But I guess this Olympic cycle will show us a bit more on what it's about and how it's actually going to work. But it'll be interesting because lots of countries will utilise your under 23 riders, I guess, to get Olympic qualifying points. And I think the class will come pretty strong, to be honest. But it was like I was at the European Champs last year watching as I couldn't ride, and Cedric Booty won, but he honestly would have been a contender to win the Elite Men class as well. So it was just interesting. It's like, yeah, I find it weird that he, not for him, 100%. Most people would have done the same thing. You get a European champ jersey, you probably get money, etc. But it was weird that the lesser class, under 23, could have won the bigger class as well.
Yeah.
It's almost like someone who could win AA Pro racing A Pro just for the money or something, where you never see that. You'd never see Sam Willoughby racing A Pro or something just for the money. So we'll see how it goes, I guess. But it's a good chance for New Zealand to get some points and get some confidence, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess that's what it's all about, trying to get more people to that top echelon of the sport, isn't it really?
Yeah, I think so. We'll see how it works with development and with, like you said, getting people to the top. Where in the past it was kind of like you do junior elite and then you jump in the deep end and you learn to swim, where maybe now you've got to do that twice. Maybe you've got to go from junior to under 23 and then again jump in the deep end for elite. But maybe the under 23 class will be quite competitive, that it's not too much of a jump to elite, but we'll see.
Yeah. So what's with the branding on your hat? You haven't picked up an Oakley sponsorship?
No. No, I don't even wear goggles when I ride. It was just a hat that I've seen and I liked it.
So you've had the Prophecy for a little while. Are you getting a new frame anytime soon, or is that?
I'm unsure what I'm doing with all that stuff, and I'm sure I'll have an answer soon to what I am doing. But I've been in talks with Prophecy and stuff and about getting a new frame. But yeah, it's all, nothing's confirmed or anything. So we'll see in the not too distant future what I'm doing with that stuff. But bike's a bike, really.
It's holding up well.
Yeah, definitely. I've had it end of 2020, so I guess 18 months maybe, 16 months, and nothing wrong with it. Perfect, good as gold.
Oh, that's good to hear. So we're going to see more edits out of you, or are you sort of pretty solid with your training right now?
Yeah, I was actually thinking that the other day. Like I was looking through my camera roll on my phone, and it was just like gates. And it's pretty boring. So I've been really focused with training and just taking every day off, trying to do my best every day, and whether that's in the physio, in the gym, coaching, sprints, whatever. I've just been trying to do the best I can every single day. And I guess, the tracks that I've been riding, it's like I've ridden them a million times, and I'm not going to say that there's no more lines or stuff to do, but it's just been I've been focused on other things. But no, I'll definitely be posting videos soon. It's something that I enjoy, pushing myself and doing new things to scare myself, which I do basically on the daily. It's just whether I think that other people find it interesting or impressive. I just posted one this morning, actually. It was me doing a full lap of our Supercross track with no pedaling, which I know how hard it is. We actually had a race there on the weekend just been for the junior elite. They have a world selection race, and some of those boys weren't jumping the track. Obviously, it's a full race. I think they pulled out of the pro set 2 out of the 4 races. So it's not easy. So, I mean, I did it without pedaling. So I'm not trying to brag, but it's just like, I thought that was quite impressive myself. So that's something I posted, but honestly, to the normal eye, it probably doesn't look that impressive. Even when I watch it, it doesn't look impressive. But when I did it, I was like, oh, that was pretty cool that I could do that.
Goes to show how much speed you could generate off one of those big hills.
Yeah, definitely. Sound like such an idiot saying that out loud, but you've got to do things like that. See how much speed you can generate, not only off the big hill, but off the jumps, off the corners, and just it shows you how much importance is on being smooth and not casing anything. Because if I cased anything on that lap, there's no way I could have finished it. So it was cool. It was actually first try as well, which is nice.
Just thinking about Shepparton, that wouldn't be possible at Shepparton, would it? Because of the way the flat corners are.
No, it would definitely be possible at Shepparton.
Really?
Definitely.
Oh, there's a challenge for you next time you come over.
I think it'll be very easy, actually.
Oh, yeah, the jumps aren't real big, are they?
No. I mean, the first straight would be simple.
Yeah.
The second straight. Yeah, I think that'd be super easy. For anyone listening, you guys can post it. Tag me.
That'll be a Bodie or a Max or someone that has to do it now.
Does anyone live in Shepparton that's like a regular 8-meter rider?
Not that I'm aware of. I think they've got about 6 club members there.
Really?
That's pretty small, yeah. Maybe Gian. I never remember his son.
Where's Hayden Fletcher live?
He's in Queensland right now, up on the Gold Coast.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a bit of I seen the video from Bodie, was it last weekend or 2 weeks ago in Shepparton with Isaac and stuff and Max and.
Oh yeah. How was that? I didn't get to
Max
see any of that racing. I was so disappointed. I probably should have just stopped racing and watched them instead. But to see that final and like I think I only saw the clip of Bodie's crash. For him to be right next to Isaac like that, he must have been on it. And then the bulldozer Max coming through and cleaning up his bike. It's crazy.
I don't think anyone else in BMX could have taken that on the chin and carried on except Max.
It didn't even slow him down.
No. That was did Alex Cameron finish third or something?
Yeah, I think he did slip through for a third, and then Wade Turner got fourth. And I thought, well, Wade's been off the pace a little bit for quite a while. It's good to see him back up there.
Yeah, I love seeing Alex Cameron up on the podium. Like he's been around for so long. Did he win the 2010 national champs in Shepparton for elite men?
He did win. I'm not sure what year it was. He's going back a bit far for my liking, but yeah, even then he was one of the elder guys in the class.
Yeah, I remember that, and that final I've watched it a lot, and that was one of my favourites, just because he's not the fastest down the first straight, and then just made his way through being smooth, and I think he did like the gaps back then looked huge, so I don't think many people were doing them. Maybe I can't remember what he did, but he did a different line down the third straight, and so that was 12 years ago, and I just love how he rides. I think Bathurst, well, 2020, I think he won his first moto, I want to say. And then it got cancelled, obviously, but I think he won it and put him top 16, obviously, overall, which is so cool to see 10 years after he won his first national title, still battling the best in the world. And Alex is someone who just loves riding his bike, you can tell, and he's what I look at as a BMX racer.
Yeah. I don't know how long he can hang on to being competitive at his age, but he's like proving me wrong every year. I keep thinking, oh, this must be his last year. This must be his last year. And he must be getting up around 33, 34 by now.
Yeah, well, I think what his strengths are is just like being smooth and being quite a good racer. Like he's obviously really good at overtaking, really smart, and he's smooth. So as long as I guess he wants to carry on, he can, because it's not something that I guess his physicality isn't his strength. So as long as he keeps riding his bike and hangs on to those skills, he'll be able to go on as long as he wants. If someone like
absolutely.
those tennis players like Roger Federer, I guess, like his strengths, he's not the biggest, strongest tennis player in the world, but he's probably technically, and I'm not a tennis fan, but he's probably technically good and quite smart, where it's the same as Cameron. So there's another French rider, Damien Godet, who was the same. I think he only quit last year, but he would show up to a French round and make it into the final with, I don't know, it looked like he had like the 30th fastest start the French round and still make the final, just because he's quite smart and quite smooth around the track. And so no, I love seeing Alex race. It's really refreshing.
Did you get to see much of the racing from Shepparton? You said you saw a video. Was that just the final?
It was just the final. I don't know if it was live streamed, but I just seen Bodie posted the video of the final, and then he posted obviously his crash. But I seen the whole final. It looked like it was Isaac and Bodie out front, Matt's right behind, and
the ECI TV crew were there with all the cameras, but there was only one cameraman and he was racing, so he thought, screw it.
Was that you?
Yeah. had all the gear there, and it's like, I don't know how I can do both. And they didn't probably say anything, but there was 2 ambulances there at the same time earlier in the day. It was before our second moto. It's like halfway through the second moto. So they took the lunch break then and then said, okay, we're going to go flat out from now on. So there's just no chance I was ever going to get up and even watch, let alone pull a camera out and try to video a final.
Yeah. What were the restrictions like? Do you guys have to go on bubbles or anything?
No restrictions at all. Well, you guys still restricted? No international travel?
I think they opened the borders to Kiwis that live here, that they can come home without isolation. But in terms of like nationals next weekend, they're doing like bubbles throughout the weekend. So like, I don't know, like there'll be like 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, and 15-year-olds that race on this morning, and then these guys race in the afternoon. So like no one's going to be there. Not everyone's going to be there for the racing, which I guess is kind of weird for nationals. That's one thing I remember and love about nationals was everyone's there, the atmosphere's pumping, and you get to race hopefully your final in front of like the whole crowd. Where this year you're probably going to race your final in front of 100 people.
Wow. What about people who have kids in multiple classes, or dads that have kids that they race themselves?
Yeah, so you're going to have to, I mean, there's a couple of kids I coach where one races, say, Saturday morning, the other one races Saturday afternoon. So you only allow one support person with you, I think. So I guess mum will have to come with them in the morning and the dad might have to go with them in the afternoon or something. So it's very strange, but at least we can race, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I was going to say that. At least you can have a championship.
Yeah, I feel like every second person I talk to, though, is a close contact or have got COVID. We're going through that high point right now of everyone getting it, and then hopefully we can start going on the downward slope and get back to some form of normality.
There's been protests over in New Zealand, hasn't there? Were you involved in any of the violence or anything? No.
I actually flew down to Wellington on Monday, which is where the protests were, and I didn't see anything, but I've seen a lot of stuff online with the protests, and yeah.
So that's what are the protests about? Being locked down for so long, or is that about
the mandates? More about trying to get some freedom back in, and yeah, I'm not talking about that nonsense.
All right, we'll move on. Been talking about COVID for 2 years now. I think people are bored with it.
I think we started this in COVID, didn't we?
I reckon you're right. Yeah, it was after the World Cup, and the World Cup pretty much kicked off COVID. The World Cup here in Shepparton and Bathurst was when COVID really started.
Yeah, I remember flying home from that World Cup, people wearing masks, but it wasn't obviously necessary, but compulsory. So yeah, COVID had started, but we hadn't gone into lockdown and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I feel like we've caught up now. You did go off to a Crankworks race and then decided to not do any more of that. Have you started thinking any more about jumping on a mountain bike from time to time, or is it all just pure BMX from here on in?
Yeah, well, so when I last called you, I was in Christchurch, and I was kind of on my way down to the Crankworks Summer Series, which was basically an extension of the Crankworks Series. Obviously, lots of internationals had come, and they wanted to make it more worth their time, so they had an extra series down south, which my plans were to go do it. And when I got to Christchurch, I started coaching lots, riding my bike heaps, and riding new tracks, and I just really enjoyed riding my BMX bike, and I'd ridden my mountain bike a fair bit, but it's so different. I'm so competitive, and I'm so driven off progress, where I don't know, when you ride mountain bikes every day, it's probably more, I don't want to say social, but more, sociable. You do it with your friends and you have fun. Obviously, I like having fun, but to me, fun is progression and training and riding my BMX bike. So yeah, I won't say no to Crankworks, but it's not something I want to train for right now or put time into. It's just not really on my radar.
Yeah.
You guys come to New Zealand?
I've been thinking about that because I haven't raced much. Pretty keen, and I've been talking about going to that Howrah indoor just for a fun race for so long, and I never got around to it. It must be on around this time of the year. No, a bit later, about Easter time, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so.
I've never
Such a
been.
big race meeting. It's not even on your radar.
I've never been. It's actually something I kind of wanted to do. I mean, I still can, obviously, but I've never done it. And we used to do a race called Hamilton Indoor, which was in the Hamilton Showgrounds, and it was made out of wood. It's like,
Is
you've
that
done
the
it?
Flat Pedal National?
No, so that's in Kapiti, which is down Wellington. But Hamilton Indoor doesn't exist anymore. It probably finished in 2003 or something, 2004, maybe a bit later. But it used to just be made out of wood. Like the whoop section would be triangles.
Wow.
The turns were like flat on seal with hay bales around it. And that's kind of what I grew up racing. And that was, I guess, the favourite race of the year. It was Age on the Day, which benefited me. And that was wicked. It used to make a hell of a noise as you'd ride over the wood. And that was cool. So this Howrah Indoor, it kind of reminds me, not that I've been, but just it reminds me of the Hamilton Indoor back in the day. So I do want to go one day. But it's a bit of a drive, and you know what elite riders are like these days.
So I have to put up a couple of bucks to get you there, you reckon?
So they have to put up a couple of bucks. It's like, I just don't have a couple of bucks to go.
Oh God, you can't get to there, and you can go all the way to Europe. God, what's going on?
Oh. I can't get to Europe, so if you know anyone that can pay, let me know.
So yeah, I'd like to get to New Zealand, but it's those fun races like the Flat Pedal Nationals that appeal to me, and Howrah over anything else, pretty much, because I can race a BMX race any weekend here, but I couldn't do stuff like that here.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I've never been to that Flat Pedal National either. I haven't even done anything really. But maybe I'm going to look on the calendar. Maybe they're close together and you could do both.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think when Paul goes over, they're a couple of months apart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, maybe we can catch up soon with hopefully some more idea with what I'm doing this year and some more structured conversation.
Yeah. Well, it's been a while since we've actually picked on a topic and sort of discussed that flat out. I think we were talking about sponsorship as a potential topic, so maybe we could start off with that next time around.
Sounds good.
You've been attacked by a fly.
Yeah. I had a phone call not long ago, and this bird flew and landed on me, like on my shoulder, mid Zoom call, and I was like,
wasn't it a crow or something?
no, we don't have those scary birds that you guys do. We don't look like idiots riding around with cable ties hanging out of our helmets.
Oh, the magpie.
Magpie.
You don't have any aggressive animals at all over there, do you?
I think we do have we probably have a magpie, but they just don't. They do over the ditch.
The two chilled bros.
Two chill bros. Do we have any aggressive animals? Not really. Just dogs.
You don't even have snakes. How's that work?
No snakes. That's good. Living the dream. Living the dream over here.
It was just after BSX. It was only a couple of days after, and it had been smoking hot over here. And I was riding, but I thought I better go out and sort of check the track first, make sure there's no sticks or whatever across the track. And I got to this point where I saw a snake, and I thought, oh, great. But it was dead. I think a fox got to it or something. It was about this long. It wasn't huge, but it was just an indication that I need to be careful when I go outside.
You live in Australia. So that's the first thing you think of when you wake up.
When am I going to get bitten by a snake? Oh, it's only 7 o'clock, so I got a couple of hours.
We stayed, the first year we went to Track Attack, we stayed at this, what is it? Like an outback camping place. I can't remember. Oh, I wish I knew what it was called.
Oh, right. It's like a scout hall or something. I think I heard about it.
Something like that. And Gavin D had organised. Gavin D?
Yeah.
He had organised it for us, and there was like, I don't know how many families, maybe 7 or 8 families from New Zealand that all went together, and we'd never been to Australia, so we'd heard about the spiders and snakes and stuff, and there was this fridge that it wasn't turned on. We opened it, and there was a huntsman that was like that big. We all like freaked out, and then there's like a little river going through the scout camp, and the guy that was showing us alligators or crocodiles or snakes here, and he goes, nah, there's nothing down here. So we went for a swim, and sure enough, this little green water snake just past us, and we're like freaking out. But it was an interesting. I think we got bitten by bull ants as well, so it was an interesting experience for us Kiwis going over there. It's a different world.
It is. It's funny. It's not that much distance between us either. It's weird.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll finish it up there, and we'll pick it up again soon. Like you said,
sounds good.
Pick it up on a topic, or you can reveal some more information about your upcoming year.
Yeah, I wish I had some.
All right. Thanks very much for joining us, mate.
No worries. See ya.
See ya.